Welcome to History in the Making, yet another time. The Metabolic Health Conference Season 3 is here, brought to you by Shashikant Iyengar, Anup Singh, and Team Dilip from India. February 14th is a special day for all of us as Anup celebrates 14th year as a pill-free diabetic. He was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes on 14 February, Valentine's Day 2011. We begin this global landmark event to coincide with Anup's huge achievement as a 14th year pill-free diabetic, embarking now on the 15th year with some fantastic numbers on his blood work done just 2 days back. We'll get back to talking about this and more in a session, but it suffices to say about Anup that while most people generate interest, a rare few like him create history too that changes the course of human destiny and life. It is with immense pleasure and excitement that we welcome you to the third Metabolic Health Conference. The success of the last two Metabolic Health Conferences has been profound, igniting vital conversations and fostering a dynamic community dedicated to evidence-based nutrition and metabolic interventions. These events have not only brought greater awareness to therapeutic benefits of low-carb ketogenic diets, but have also catalyzed real change in clinical practice across India and beyond. This conference is more than just an exchange of ideas. It is a beacon of hope for millions grappling with these conditions and a clarion call for a paradigm shift in healthcare. Hi, I'm Ira Sahai, the Chief Operating Officer of D-Life Healthcare Private Limited, a very proud D-Life certified metabolic health coach and your lead host for the session, Metabolic Health Conference 3. D-Life's India's first and the only award-winning low-carb platform was founded by Anup Singh in 2014, a silver medalist from IIT Roorkee, and the recipient of Icons of India Award by the Outlook Group in 2022. Anup is the pioneer of the low-carb movement in India with his path-breaking protocol of 100-gram carbs per day max, given by him in 2012 that made not only lchf, but even type 2 diabetes remission possible, even on an Indian vegetarian complex diet. What we are doing today started with this one man's first step who challenged the medical status quo and carved a path for all of us to be here today. I welcome our chief guest of today's session, Mr. Dilip Cherian, India's celebrated image guru who's here with us today. A bit about Dilip. Most of the people all over the world are familiar with who Dilip is, but just a bit on the, iconic man himself. Dilip has spent over 3 decades in bureaucracy, journalism, and public advocacy, besides mentoring and shaping up some of the biggest brands, institutions, and government initiatives. Starting his career in government as an economic consultant to the Ministry of Industry, he went on to join Business India, and he has been editor, advisor, and director to many top media houses, brands, and government initiatives. Dilip Cherian is the most reckoned name in the business of corporate reputation and public policy forecasting in India. Big brands, smart startups, PSUs have all been nurtured by his brand, quote unquote, his brand of image management. He has also led PR to strategize for political leaders and parties before many of today's players emerged. Dilip has an impactful and enviable footprint on TV, print media, and social media. This is amongst the several reasons why he's fondly and rightly called the image guru of India. Dilip, welcome to the Metabolic Health Conference. Good morning and a very, very happy Valentine's Day. You and I are wearing the same red frame, celebrating the spirit of Valentine. Welcome.
Thank you, Ira. It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you on 2 counts. One, for calling me once again to this conference. And second, for having been my coach and for maintaining me on the track of at least attempting to stay healthy while I also make my personal efforts to stay wise. It's a pleasure to be here. And I think that this conference, as I've seen it, has not just grown in terms of its numbers or impact, but I think it is now becoming something that a lot of people across the world and definitely in India look forward to because of the fact that you're able to assemble a crew of practitioners who not only believe in what they're doing, but also have proven results, medical results, blood works, to make the point that this works. It works whether you're vegetarian or you're not vegetarian. And I think that having a conference that helps to spread the word is a great effort. And congratulations to all of you, team D-Life, for having put this conference together and being able to organize it impeccably. Ira, do you want to go on, or you want me to go on, or are you going to ask me something? You're on mute.
Yeah, I was just briefly, I think there was a technical glitch. But Dilip, wonderful to have you back once again. And please tell us, I mean, you've been a part of the global conferences, 1 and 2. What changes have you observed in the awareness and acceptance as of now, especially in India, where, when we are making a lot of noise about the therapeutic benefits of the low carb diet? How do you see the awareness, having grown in India vis-a-vis the low carb diet, or therapeutic carbohydrate, reduction for reversing chronic metabolic diseases?
The benchmark that I look at, Ira, is how often do people ask about it? How often do people want to find a trusted source? And how easily is a person who is on that path able to recommend a resource where you can go to? So the fact that you have a live and vibrant website, a program, and the fact that now you have the method that all, I'm using the word very widely, all cults need disciples to be trained. And I think that, in a sense, the low carb life is a medical path that people who are looking for non-medicine oriented ways of solving their health problems are attempting to try. But they need support, they need guides, they need mentors. Everybody is not as lucky as me to have Ira on speed dial. But everybody needs people who are trained coaches. And I think between the first conference we had and now, I think I see a lot more of curiosity, of excitement, and I see traction. I think this is the way to do it. Sustain it, keep it going. It's a lot of effort. I know a lot of people are putting in hours of work to make this kind of event happen. And I think the reward of that is the fact that people who are not touched by it understand it and have somebody who they can rely to believe on and to lead them on this path.
Yeah, Dilip, you've personally benefit from the low carb, approach. As someone who has personally embarked on this journey for the last 1.5 years, how have you seen the benefits, and what has been your most significant personal health transformation, also the learning?
Ira, I don't want to make this inaugural comments a kind of testimony of my life and proof of Ira's magic, but it certainly has helped me achieve the two things which I started out with, which is maintain my diet despite being a ravishing foodie, and secondly, maintain the level of blood sugar at levels where I don't get scolded by you. I think that's more than adequate. But in addition, what it has done is it gives me a basis to guide others informally, telling them this thing you're doing isn't going to work for you. Don't have a glass of juice in the morning. It is stupid. And here's the proof for it. So I think that you called me an image guru. But what happens is that if you're a guru in, say, calisthenics, people will ask you about financial management. So similarly, people who come to me for image management very often will ask me a dietary question. And understanding the science of it, which you have helped me understand bits of, is useful. And I think in all three ways, enhancing my ability as a guru, being able to keep my weight in control despite vast quantities of eating in wonderful places, and number three, maintaining the blood sugar profile that is healthy. All these three things are big wins.
What a great, insight there, Dilip. And I'm so glad you've been able to follow it through despite your very, very, very busy and hectic schedule. I think low carb gives you a lot of liberty and a vast spectrum of things to choose from. And regardless of what, some people believe that it is restrictive, I think it gives you a lot more liberty to, play around with things. And once you understand the basis and the fundamental behind it, I think you've done pretty well. And I'm so proud of, what you've achieved in terms of numbers.
Thank you.
Dilip, what is your message to those people? As I just said, in continuity to what I said, did you find it sustainable? Did you find it enjoyable? Because just to put it out there for people who think it is limiting, Dilip had everything on his plate, and right from rice that he's very fond of to meats to veggies and all of that. So, Dilip, tell us about what is your message to those skeptics who think low carb diet, is maybe difficult to do.
I think follow the science. The science is what your blood works and what your body tells you. I've seen that, the fear one had that, oh, if I don't have these fruits and these kinds of vegetable overload, and most importantly, carb overload, I will not feel satisfied. That's simply not true. I find, and I think I've always found that you can pretty much load up on everything other than carbs and be healthy. In fact, you can be more energetic. The sluggishness that follows the kinds of simple carbs that most people are today used to having is actually fundamentally altering our society. It's making a huge race of sick children and sicker adults. So once you get addicted to that, getting off is very difficult. Ira doesn't know this, but I have to tell you that there are times when you fall off the wagon, but you compensate. You make sure that you go back onto the path that you recognize is better for your body. It may be tastier once in a while to experiment with some carbs, but the carbs have to be an experiment, not the mainstream and not the mainstay of your life. Secondly, I always say that the evidence that we have today is huge. There will be lots of people who are skeptics. There'll be people who throw stones at us. But I think that at year 3, the conference and its specialists need to have the confidence that you don't need to retaliate in a Trump-like fashion. You need to speak in a Musk-like fashion. So understand the science, produce the results, be a confident in your own skin kind of person, and you don't need rhetoric and bombast or even abuse to make your point. You need to make sure that people can see the results from their own results, not the results of somebody else, because nobody is the same as me. Nobody is the same as you. And therefore, it's got to work for you. Use a coach, follow the pattern, allow yourself the liberty to, go off the track once in a while, but learn how to get back on track quite easily. And I think combining low carb with some form of regular and programmed fasting is probably the ultimate weapon. A lot of people on this journey don't understand that once you are in some control of your own intake, then you can even choke it off when you need to.
Dilip, we still have a few minutes and a very pertinent point, that probably I'll be asking our next guest also. As somebody who's been involved in policy and a lot of government initiatives, how do you see, children not being given, eggs in Anganwadi and the school, the midday meals? And it's such a critical and crucial thing for overall growth and, for children, and being served khichdi instead. I mean, this has been something that's been on my mind. And I thought, I'd ask you this. You are
There
involved with a
is,
lot of initiatives with the government and policy shaping and making. So how do you see this? I mean, our young children are not getting proper nutrition in Anganwadi schools.
I'm so happy that you asked me this question. This is a policy minefield. There is a sneaky attempt to try and convert this country into following a foolish vegetarian pattern. It doesn't work. You need the nutrition, especially when you're a child, which comes from eggs. You need the nutrition that comes from mutton, chicken, a variety of sources. You don't want to turn them into the kind of children who cannot absorb the nutrients they need. Now, there is this myth which is created that dal and rice in a certain proportion has all the amino acids of meat. It is the most ridiculous path which is being produced by people who want to try and convert people into a khichdi eating race. It's possible we will become a race of pygmies with swollen bellies, and that's fine because the few of us who understand what to eat and how to nourish our bodies will be the super race. So I think that policy-wise, policymakers who are either listening, and you have large numbers of them online, I know, policymakers need to understand that human evolution has signs, signals, and indicators which say what is it that the human body as it exists today survived on for millennia. Now, there must be a reason why the human body thrived and grew and went from 4 legs to 2 legs to hopefully somewhat bright minds. There is a reason why nutrition was the building block for all of this. So if you don't see the signs, you will end up creating a new nation of pygmies with bloated stomachs.
Yeah, very well said, and very crucial thought out there. It's something that has been bugging us, all of us at D Life, and it's a very crucial juncture
You
that we
need
are
to
standing.
show the proof, Ira. You
Yes,
don't need to shout at them because most
correct.
of them are ignorant people already with pea-sized brains. So there's no point screaming at them. They won't understand.
Yeah, and Dilip, you would not be surprised to know that we have a huge, huge percentage of child stunting and malnutrition already existing in our country and defying science. I mean, this is, as you said, it's becoming a khichdi nation. The fundamentals of nutrition are being skipped and children are being fed khichdi. As a result, I mean, look at the number of medals that we win even in the Olympics. So that's a sad state of affairs.
Ira, I think that D-Life needs to now start making its impact on policymakers. We need to direct our anger at them, and we need to make each of the people who have traveled this journey to talk to their policy, to their MLA, their Gram Pradhan, their MP, whoever it is. Because otherwise we're going to get stuck.
Yeah, very well said. Dilip, your last thoughts. I mean, yeah. Your last thoughts for this session, as far as the MHC is concerned, it's a huge historic event for India. And, as much as we would love the policymakers to take note of it, I mean, you are one of those people in this country who can really amplify our voice, and, a few other people are coming. How do you see the future of metabolic health in India with regards to the work that D-Life and Anup has done and Shashi is doing right now through this conference? So what are your thoughts towards the end of the session?
Ira, you, Anup, and Shashi, and more doctors, more trained practitioners need to provide data. You need to make the science naked. You need to make it attractive. And then you need to reach policymakers. But haranguing them will not work. Individual success stories need to penetrate into the skulls of people taking decisions.
I think I'll call Shashi and Anup also on the screen. Dilip Cherian is here, and let's start. This session with Shashi and Anup also joining. This is our inaugural session. So welcome Shashi and welcome Anup.
Thank
Join
you.
in the
Thank you.
conversation.
Pleasure to see all of you. And I hope that I wish this session is a success in terms of carrying conviction. When you carry conviction, you don't need to shout about it. You need to show the figures, you need to show the science, because ignorance can only be conquered by knowledge. One little candle in a room is enough to dispel darkness. And that candle needs to be people who have followed your method and who have attended a session or two or have had a coach or two. And those people can make a complete difference to any policymaker who they encounter. And we have, I noticed, my very dear friend Pankaj Pachauri, who is again someone who carries a huge cloud. And we know that people like him understand the benefits of minimizing your carb overload practices. We are a nation that has lost its way over the last 50, 70 years or more. And we need to get the nation back on the path. Carbs of the quantity that we are imbibing are needed for people who are doing mazduri work. And unfortunately, many of us are not. And thank God we are not. But we need to understand that unless you have a certain kind of exhausting exercise as part of your every hour work, you cannot live a life of health with the kind of overloads and the kind of misguided dietary practices that we follow. It's all about the diet. It's all about the gut biome. That's what decides both what you think and what you will be.
Yeah. Anything from Anup and Shashi?
Good morning, Dilip. And it's a great feeling to have you for the third session, third season. And I'm sure as we move ahead, planning bigger and bigger things, you will always be a part of this grand movement that has started. And I would like to summarize, for benefit of viewers, that three important points you made. One was everyone is different. And that is where the role of coach comes in, because generic dietitians, they give you a printed, a printout, okay, computer printout diet chart. Almost 5 or 10% here and there is the difference. And let the medical reports talk. That was point number two. Because even if somebody changes, they have this fear coming from kitty parties and WhatsApp forwards that kidney will be damaged because of high protein, fat will cause you blah blah blah, salt will cause hypertension. So all these WhatsApp messages and all these I would call them neighborhood experts. Everyone is an expert when it comes to diet. So yes, let the medical reports talk, because as Gary Top said in one of the sessions, if I remember correctly, you are not going to die in 6 or 8 months if you are changing your diet. And then follow your reports. Now, third point was on that Khichdi Nation. Not that India is not doing it. In fact, IIT Bombay, I mean, Dr. Rupal Dalal will be joining in this season. She is working on malnutrition in among children, and she always recommends to wean off to something like meat puree, right? Egg puree. I mean, dal and rice is not complete protein. I mean, whoever is pushing this, I would call them, basically agenda driven, backed by certain politicians. Maybe, I am not very sure. So that's all I have to say. And thank you very much for, gracing the occasion. Shashi, yes.
Yeah, first of all, good morning, all. Good morning, Mr. Dilip. Thank you again for coming in and inaugurating the session. So, this third event, of course, is again going to make a difference. Now, in addition to what you said about carbs, we are going a couple of steps higher. We are this time focusing on the addiction to processed food, which is something big in global as in India. The processed foods are something a few more steps above the common carbohydrates. Not only this, we are also taking up the topic of seed oils. Now, if you see off late, there is a huge news in America on the seed oil concept. So it is also hypothesized that seed oil could be possibly one of the big root causes of all the metabolic disorders in India. So we are going to take these topics head on, the processed food addiction, not only processed food, but the addiction to processed food, and how to get away with this. We are called 3 or 4 addiction specialists and 3 seed oil specialists. So together, we are going to make the public more and more aware of the dangers they are in and how to really get out of all these issues. And I think we have made significant impact in the first 2 events, MHC1, MHC2. More and more people are aware about the concept of low carb, and more people are aware that a lot of doctors are supporting. Earlier, people used to think that low carb is something only pushed on by some dietitians or coaches or certain people. But now they have seen that mainstream doctors are also supporting low carb. Not only low carb, but it is ketogenic diet, it is carnivore diet, and it is getting mainstream. So more and more people are benefiting, they're becoming aware. And most importantly, we have kept this program free of cost. So people can come, they can watch live, they can watch it later also when we upload the recording. So I think this is a step, a sort of our social responsibility to make the people aware of the choices they can make. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think with a champion team like the 3 of you, this concept is going to go further. On the processed foods, the only thing I want to leave you all with is that the manufacturing of processed foods is a science backed by enormous money. There are taste scientists who ensure addiction. And I think we need to unmask that, because once you're on the path of processed foods, getting off is very difficult. Getting off is also, many people think that it is expensive. It's actually much cheaper than going and spending a huge amount of money in a hospital, and even cheaper than actually buying processed foods, because processed foods are designed to make you addicted and you end up spending more and more on them.
Yeah, very pertinent point you made there, Dilip. And we don't realize, I mean, the role of media. I'm going to be asking this to Pankaj as well. Yes, the role of media in, of course, the advertising agency and the media that's in your face all the time telling you to eat heart healthy oils and this biscuit is good. And, we don't realize where we have landed in all of this. We are in a mess. As a country, we are one of the sickest nations in the world. And it starts with, trying to make a khichdi nation starts right at when you are a kid, and the inculcation of these habits in school and the message that we are sending out in terms of choosing your dietary preference when the science is saying something else and you're doing something else. I think it really challenges our belief system that vegetarianism or a certain dietary preference is more virtuous than the other. I mean, as you said, go with the science, and I think as a nation it's high time now that we went with the science. Dilip, thank you so much for coming and speak. Yeah, you were saying
something. Look forward to seeing all of you. Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you for being here. Anup, Shashi, and of course, my coach and mentor, Ira. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dilip, for giving insights into your personal journey also, and your advantages of low carb, and also sharing your insights on so many other varied topics. Love to have you here, and as always, anything that D-Life does in terms of metabolic health conference or the forum or anything, you will always be a part of us. Thank you for coming, Dilip. Thank you.